Hello, welcome back to True Seekers Tea. My name is Kate, and I am thankful as always to have you here for today's Pick a Card reading. I actually am going to start a new thing where I am going to do a free love reading giveaway every single month. So you can enter that by just liking this video and leaving any comment, and I will randomly select the winner and post it on my channel. So make sure you have your notifications on. So that's just a side track. But for today's reading, we're going to be looking at whether or not there is potential for a healthy relationship to develop with the person that you're asking about. So this is really meant to help you guys figure out whether or not you should continue to pour energy into a certain connection. And I've already actually filmed them. So I do want to say that there is definitely potential where it could be a situation where it's not right now, but maybe down the line. So anything can come through in this reading. So I try to keep a really open mind for it. We do a pretty extensive energy check-in as well that hopefully will allow you to feel confident that it is your pile so you don't get false advice. So for pile number 1, we have the Way Home Tarot with the clear quartz heart. For pile number 2, we have the Way of the Panda Tarot with this blue calcite. And for pile number 3, we have the Chrysalis Tarot with this orange calcite raw crystal. I believe this is orange calcite. It might be citrine. Let me know if you guys know. So take whatever time you need. Pause the video if you want to figure out which pile you're feeling the most drawn to. And there will be that energy check-in. So if you want to check out multiple piles, feel free to do that. There will also be an extended reading for each pile. I do ask Spirit what would make sense to go into further. So if you do really feel like your pile is resonating, that will be available through a link in the description box. But as usual, I'll have the timestamps down below and any of the decks that I'm using along with any other information about me. So I'm excited for you guys to hear these readings, and I'll see you at your pile. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose the Way Home Tarot and this clear quartz heart, this is going to be your reading where we're looking at whether or not there is a possibility of a happy future with the person that you have in mind. We will be doing a pretty thorough energy check-in just to kind of inform me about what's currently going on in the dynamic, just to get me attuned to your guys' energy. And also it will work as an energy check-in just to help you make sure that you really do feel like you've picked the right pile. And just set it up for a clear reading for the rest of the part of the reading. So my intention with this is to help those of you get a more accurate gauge as to whether or not it makes sense to keep putting energy into someone, be in the form of thinking about them, checking up on them, or I'm leaving it open to whatever circumstance you guys might be in. But just for those of you that are just want to know if there is a light at the end of the tunnel in regards to a certain connection, I'm definitely leaving it completely open. I can see it going either way. So this isn't for one kind of a relationship. So I'm going to ask for the one that is most helpful for you to learn about those. So Spirit, please help me into pile number 1. Could you please tell me about their current dynamic with the person that they have in their mind? So it's helpful if you can hold it in your mind as well. Hold the person that you want me to tap into so I can more accurately tap into how you're feeling about this person, what the energy is like, especially from pile number 1's perspective. If you could take a second just to visualize it, it's helpful for me. What are the current circumstances and dynamic? I'm actually gonna do reversals as well. All right, sorry, that was a long shuffling session. I guess I just kind of wanted to tune in. So Spirit, please tell us what's going on in the current dynamic with the person that pile number 1 wants to know about a future with. What's currently going on? We have the Son of Wands. We have the Tower. So lots of explosive energy here. We have a volcano and with the Tower. We have the Eight of Pentacles. What is the current dynamic? Five of Wands. Wow. So lots of fire energy here. This feels like a chaotic situation. We have the Son of Pentacles in reverse. And the Seven of Cups. Okay. Ten of Swords in reverse at the back of the deck as well. Okay. Pile number 1. This is someone I want to say that you definitely felt right off the bat very attracted to. Definitely getting a fiery personality, or it's one of those dynamics where you definitely feel the passion. Like, I feel like this is someone where it would be hard to stop thinking about them. I'm getting that there is a lot of thinking about this person and trying to piece it together. I think there was a lot of excitement for this connection, especially in the beginning. There may even be a lot of competition for this person, or yeah, I'm kind of getting that. Or you may feel like there's competition. You may feel like this is someone that maybe someone that you really like or did like. I do sense that there's already some history with them, or there has been some events already. But I do feel like this is someone that you maybe have felt like they have other people, but not in the sense of like necessarily cheating or something. It's more like maybe you guys never got to the completely committed aspect of the relationship. This could be someone who you would feel like they still have growing to do into their personality. Like, we don't have the King of Wands here. And I feel like with the Five of Wands, there's just this sense of like feeling conflicted about them, and it having to do with this person's energy being dispersed. It's almost like it's hard to get a clear read on what this person's true intentions are, where they really want to put their energy towards. Because there's a theme here around not knowing if they want to put the true work in for a more grounded relationship. There's a feeling here with the Tower. It could be that I'm kind of getting that there's like a sporadic kind of pattern with this person. So it could be that they come in like hot and heavy, or like they kind of come in out of nowhere and kind of surprise you. It could be a part of the reason why you're attracted to them. But with the Tower and the Son of Pentacles in reverse, it's like a lack of consistency definitely from them. This definitely could be one of those connections where it's like a few months in, or you just met this person recently, or it's someone that you've been in like a situationship with. I'm just getting more of a situationship or like a hookup scenario. Someone where it's like questionable when it comes to where this person's focus is and if they actually want to build something really stable. I'm going to get a sip of water. With the Ten of Swords in reverse. Oh, in the universe. Okay. Yeah, and it may be you don't know. It could be that you've seen a certain level of behaviors from this person, or you've gotten somewhat of a vibe that at least they're not making themselves super clear in regards to what they actually want in the 3D. So what they actually want. Do they actually want a relationship? Do they want to build something for the future? Are they just kind of messing around? Is there only attraction? What's the emotion? Like, how do they feel emotionally? Because with the Seven of Cups here, there's a feeling of confusion in regards to this person's true in-depth feelings. Like, do they really have deep feelings? Are they like this to everyone? And with the Ten of Swords, it could be there's just a lot of question on your mind whether or not this is going to end up in kind of a catastrophe, or I'm also hearing love in him was red. So Taylor Swift, red could be important. Like, I'm hearing, like, is it like the scenario, the lyrics say something like being in like a nice fast car and it's like going really quickly, and then you're moving into a cul-de-sac though. So it's like, and then it ends really suddenly. So it's almost like this question of what is the future? Like, it's not clear or set in stone. It could be that you guys haven't, it's like maybe just this person's behavior is telling you that they have different options, or it's just really clear that it's hard to get like one focal point for this person, because the Seven of Cups and the Five of Wands, it's scattered. And the Son of Pentacles, it could even be that you're afraid that this person is kind of too good to be true, or setting you up for false hope, because with the Son of Pentacles, there's a sense of maybe this person hasn't followed through on what they've gotten you excited for. Or when it comes to actually putting the work in with the Eight of Pentacles, it's like it hasn't aligned. It either already hasn't aligned, and so they maybe promised certain things and got your hopes up, but then kind of really brought your hopes back down by some sort of action they took. Or it could have just been that you found out there's other people or competition. I don't know. It could be anything. There's just competition for this person's attention, and a real feeling that it could come crashing down as quickly as it became exciting for you. Yeah, that's what I'm getting here for the overall vibe. So if that sounds something like your person, then I would trust that this is the right pile. So I definitely understand why you'd be at this reading after looking at that. So we're going to be looking at, with this person that we just laid out here, Spirit, is there hope for a happy future with them? Where is this connection likely to be headed? And I want to just put a disclaimer that tarot is like not set in stone. So it's just giving you the best information that you could get from like a source that is not biased and actually wants to protect you. Like, I'm a firm believer that like anything is possible and we all have free will, but it's just based on this person's energy and the patterns that they're in, and like how deep they are into certain patterns and things like that. So I definitely think it's useful to get guidance on this, just to make sure that you're not like wasting your energy, or also make sure that you're not throwing away an opportunity that is an opportunity. But definitely take things with a grain of salt and make sure that you're using your intuition. Yeah. Okay. Pile number one, what do they need to know about where this connection is headed? What is the potential? Is there a happy potential for a relationship here, one that is more committed? Is pile number one going to be able to get what they want out of this? Is this going to be something that is happy for them? You have the Eight of Cups here in reverse. You have the Nine of Wands. Where's the connection likely headed, Spirit? We have the Three of Pentacles. All right, we have the Ten of Swords. We have the Daughter of Wands in reverse. We also have the Six of Pentacles. Okay. And the Moon at the back of the deck. Okay, this message is pretty clear, pretty straightforward. I wonder if like some of these won't be as long, but I do want to give you as much guidance as possible. Maybe I'll give you guidance as well for each pile. But what I'm seeing is, with the Eight of Cups here being in the reverse position, the Eight of Cups talks about a moment where you've already invested in something emotionally, and especially when it's in a block position, it can be that fear of change, or the fear of walking away from something that you thought was going to bring you your Nine of Cups, which is essentially what I'm looking for in this reading. Is like, is this going to be your Nine of Cups? Is this going to be what really you deserve and what you're really wanting? Because we obviously go into relationships wanting to be emotionally fulfilled, and so we end up like fighting for people as well. And so I just feel like this is a scenario 100% where I'm seeing that there could be a desire to kind of ignore certain signs that you're not getting your needs met because of a fear of the end. Like, I'm seeing that there's a strong fear of the ending of this for you. And that would be what inspires you to hold on. It's almost like there's a sense of scarcity, or a fear that if you that the end will be extremely painful and like scary. I am seeing that there's this like a lot of fear around that. And so I see with the Nine of Wands here, the Nine of Wands is all about wanting to keep fighting. Like the Nine of Wands, I see that you definitely are going to be someone who wants to put effort into this. I see that you're someone that's very loyal, and especially you guys are forgiving. So there's a sense of you guys willing to be the strong one if you need to be the strong one. And so I do see that here where it's like, I think you do really love this person, or you have a lot of desire for them. And I feel like because of that excitement, especially with like the Daughter of Wands having this like explosion going on, which is these fireworks, I do feel like you felt fireworks with this person. And the thought of it ending is like extremely painful. I sense that because it's almost like a high to a low really quick, or like almost a drug. It's almost like your love is your love is a drug is what I'm hearing. And I think this person is so exciting, and I think they add like a level of it, like fire energy to your life. But I feel like when it comes to maybe the pentacle suit, that is especially where I think this becomes less emotionally fulfilling for you as we continue to move through the relationship, because I'm seeing you wanting to still like be spontaneous and wanting to kind of take risks, and like because you don't want this ending, it's like you don't really want that moment of kind of deciding that you're done because it's so exciting. I'm really just getting that it's like you still want to take risks. Like I feel like you still want to text this person, you still want to say yes if this person invites you to do something, or it's like if they get your hopes up. There's just a sense of like it being such a hit of like dopamine that it's like it's hard to see clearly or to make this decision for you, because I feel like with the Nine of Wands here, I see you wanting to get to the end of the cycle, but it's like you want to push forward. It's like, yes, there are things that have maybe hurt me or like not been satisfactory for me, but it's almost like those small bursts making up for it. So I am getting this more from your perspective, by the way. Get a sip of water. And I do feel like the excitement that this person brings you does create illusion and confusion, because of the fact that sometimes it's hard to listen to your intuition or listen to your emotions when you're like excited or there's dopamine. It's like, yeah, this is a problem for a later pile one, like I feel like that's the energy I get when I'm very dedicated to something or very excited about something. And it's like you just want to do whatever you can to make it work. And the Three of Pentacles is all about teamwork. And I definitely thought it was interesting when the Six of Pentacles came out, because I feel like what Spirit is really telling you is that in order to make something work, and in order for there to be truly like a Three of Pentacles energy, which is all about teamwork and mutual collaboration, and to have a strong partnership with someone, it does require that both people are being good teammates. That's why it's called a partner. It's like, it's my partner because we're teammates, we build together, we listen to each other, we have our own needs, we're different. It's like we are different beings. These ants are different, I want to say people, different energies, whatever. They're different beings. They're separate, but they're all working towards the same thing. And like this would signify a relationship. And so it's about having mutual interest. And so it's about like making sacrifice and compromising on things that are important for the group, aka the relationship. And so I'm seeing that you're more than willing to be in that energy. Like I see that, but I feel like with the Six of Pentacles here, there's such a strong confirmation that you may overgive to compensate for them not being in the Three of Pentacles. So with the Six of Pentacles, this talks about being like charitable. And it also, for me, it highlights the need to think about relationship reciprocity and understanding that relationships should be reciprocal. And if there is an imbalance, it can look like one partner making up for the other person not really bringing the energy to the table, or not really thinking about the other person. So it's like one person is always kind of overcompensating for the other person's lack of contribution. And so I am seeing that this would be something that continues. And I see you trying to remedy it by giving more to them. But I feel like what Spirit really wants to draw your attention to is any red flags that you've already been seeing that like are being distorted. Yeah, we have the Sun and the Moon here. And with the Hermit talks about listening to your intuition, and especially listening to your intuition about potentially this person not really pulling their weight, in the sense that, I don't know, it may be that they're flaky. It may be that like you just don't even feel like it's almost like you couldn't 100% rely on this person, or it's like if you didn't put in all the effort, I feel like you genuinely fear that it would be over. And I feel like that's a part of you that's like keeping you in the cycle. But I think Spirit is really wanting you to see that if if you kind of know intuitively that if you don't fight and you don't put in double time or put in extra effort by having to think about this person, by having to almost anticipate them maybe not being there for you, it's almost like that. It's almost like you know that it would lead to the end if you weren't putting in double time. And what I mean by that is like maybe over like letting go of your needs, letting go of things that bother you because of the excitement, and then kind of thinking that they make up for it in some kind of a way. But with the moon being here, it may be that you're not 100% seeing it clearly because of the excitement or what you want. It could even be that you're a very loyal person. So um, to answer the question, I am not seeing that this person is willing to reciprocate. Um, and again, I want to make a just a statement and say that, again, this is really for those of you that have been intuitively following and definitely picking up on a more, I want to say like Playboy energy or kind of a immature person. Like if this is someone that you have a really deep connection with and emotional connection and there's a lot of emotional vulnerability, this is not your pile. I'm getting this to be a connection where there's kind of a lack of emotional vulnerability and more excitement than anything to make up for things. And when it comes to the actual emotional connection, I do feel like you may not get as much from them as you need. And it's almost like the excitement is the main thing that's making you want to push forward, and the fear of losing what energy you already put in, or the fear of the end, and almost the fear of like how it's going to hurt. Almost like there's almost an energy coming through of when it can be really hurtful to kind of realize that we were the reason why a relationship was still going. And this is kind of for friendships too. This is kind of what's coming to my mind, is when you kind of realize that someone doesn't really like listen to you that much, or someone doesn't reach out to you, or they're not factoring in your needs to their plans. It's almost like they're not prioritizing you, is what I'd want to say. It's like you're prioritizing them, but they're not prioritizing you in a practical way, especially in a practical way, like in a way that's consistent and on a regular basis. And it's like this person should be going above and beyond for you sometimes, like that's the way it goes in relationships. And it's like if you're the one who's mainly listening to this person's needs, focusing a bunch on this person, and kind of like letting go of your own, I feel like that's never going to be a satisfying situation for you. So I am really seeing the answer being no in this case. But let's get some oracle cards to clarify. And again, please only take this if this resonates. I definitely don't want to be overly negative. This is just what I am seeing. What else can you tell us, or more guidance, especially in clarity here for what we've already discussed? Yeah, okay. We have to the sea and a leg up. So yeah, I'm seeing here this to the sea card. I think this is discussing that it's like I see you wanting to move forward on this connection. Like I see you wanting to continue the connection essentially, because that's what to the sea is about. It's about like moving forward with your opportunities and kind of wanting to flow with them. But what this card also talks about is like if your boat is not sufficiently made, or like let's say it incurs some kind of a damage, it's kind of a metaphor for a relationship. The boat is a metaphor for what relationship is here. And it's accepting the fact that if there are holes in the foundation, and it's clear that there's been, with the Nine of Wands here, that kind of implies that has been some experiences. And for some of you, I'm actually getting there maybe has been some betrayal, or at least a certain level of letdown with this person. And it's like with the Nine of Wands, that's the wounded warrior, someone who's pushing forward despite, you know, despite what's happened. But I also feel like sometimes there are certain holes that are being brought to this relationship because of the immaturity of the person. And I feel like you're like working double time to like patch it up and be like, no, like, come on, like we can make this work. But then there's this essence of like this person's, the holes that they're putting are not going to be something that's sustainable. And so eventually the boat's going to sink. And I love that a leg up came out, because this is essentially talking about being supportive to friends and making sure that you're in relationships where, you give support to one person, but then they also give it back to you, and really building relationships where there is that mutual sense of support and caring and prioritizing the other person. I do want to read this to you just to kind of, I don't know, I find it helpful when like the words on the page specifically reiterate what's being said, just so you can really trust it. Um, so it says, relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are to be there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. And so I feel like pushing forward without making sure that this person, you are being vulnerable about your needs and they are responding to you in a way that is kind and with love. Um, you know, it's important to understand that it takes two to build something. And so I guess my main advice would be for some of you, if you feel that you haven't really asked for your needs, or like you haven't said what's wrong, that would be something that's worth doing and seeing how they respond, because then you'll kind of get your answer there. But if you already have tried to explain how their actions were disappointing and they haven't changed besides like what they initially said, this is spirit just really calling out that if you have a boat that isn't fully repaired and it doesn't have a strong foundation, like it's going to sink. And so it's better off to hold off on going sailing, to not just push forward without making sure that there's a mutually supportive environment. Yeah. And you guys may even think that if you, I'm curious if there's an energy here where you guys may be afraid to say that you're not completely happy, because maybe you've learned early on to kind of be the tough one or be the strong person or be someone that's always kind of there for people. And, um, you know, if you're the kind of person that is just kind of used to doing that, and so it's almost normal for you to not necessarily have people do stuff for you or have people meet your needs emotionally or whatever else, like even physically, um, you guys may be in the habit of not speaking up for them and thinking that if you do speak up for them, people will just like end things with you. And so for some of you, there is a message here of spirit wanting to just overall tell you that, of course, that is not the case. That the right people in your life will be more than happy to listen to your emotions and take them at face value. It's like a lot of times we can feel like we have to have like a million reasons why we want something, or we have to really back up why we're feeling a certain way, but just learning to validate your own feelings yourself. So then you have relationships where that's the norm, or that is what is expected. And it's just so healing to understand that, yes, while people should not have to meet every single one of your needs, like whatsoever, that is not sustainable or possible. Um, if someone doesn't meet your need, it is important that they honor your feelings that you had about that and that they do their best. And sometimes it can be so healing in a relationship to just say, like, I know you didn't mean to let me down. I know you didn't mean this, but like, I just need to share that, like, I did feel this way. And so without being mad at them, but just saying, like, this did make me feel that way. So maybe in the future we can go about it this way, and having that moment where you have people in your life that can say, like, I definitely, that wasn't my intention, and not being defensive. It's so important to have people in your life that are going to be able to validate your feelings and your experience and not get very defensive or make you feel bad that you feel a certain way, or just invalidation of it through being defensive or angry at you for speaking up about your feelings. Looking for those people in life that are going to be like, I'm like so sorry that you feel that way. Like, what comes second is that it wasn't my intention. And what comes second is their reaction to your feelings. And it's just kind of a red flag. And it may be that this person hasn't been able to hold very much space for you, or it may be that maybe because you're not used to that, you may be used to being in relationships with people where they're not even mature enough to do that, or you kind of, it's a familiar pattern maybe to be with people that aren't super emotionally receptive and aware and mature. And so kind of looking out for patterns like that and asking yourself, like, do I feel comfortable being vulnerable about my feelings? And if I know in my heart this person isn't going to be the one that's going to like give me what I need emotionally, then I just have to be honest with myself about that, and like not thinking that you have to overgive to get teamwork and reciprocity. And you don't have to be the tough one. You don't have to be the one without any needs while other people are acting immaturely or yeah, lacking a sense of emotional maturity, especially. Because I'm kind of seeing that here. I'm kind of seeing that, of course, it always takes two to tango, but I'm seeing the only advice I could give you is to ask yourself if there is like a part of you that's maybe not as comfortable with like speaking up for your needs, and asking yourself if that is what can maybe subconsciously dictate the types of people you're attracted to. All right, let's get a couple more. We have co-create. And I'm even getting this with spirit, but also with the people around you, and like making sure that the people around you are just like in the relationship with spirit. I'll just explain briefly. It's just kind of the idea that in the process of manifestation, it's a give and take situation with spirit. It's one of those scenarios where spirit does bring you opportunity, does draw things towards you, but you are also required to take action, and you're required to be taking time to do what you need to do to get inspired and to bring things into reality. Like spirit can't walk in and do things for you. And so there's kind of this energy where if you are trying to build something with someone, it's so important to make sure that in the same way spirit would require someone to actually take action, it's almost like when you are building something with someone, making sure that they are pulling their weight, and that you're not just kind of achieving the happiness of the relationship for them, that it's like, because it won't work, it won't really manifest then. And it's about understanding that it's a give and take process in relationships and when you're working with spirit. I want to see if there's any message in regards to the relationship aspect for co-create. All right. I'm just going to read you the protection message here because this is definitely in application to your relationship and spirit wanting to give you ideas as to how you can start aligning on a path where you don't have to put in all the effort, where you don't have to be single-handedly doing, and understanding that it's an act of doing and receiving in relationships. So it says, are you trying too hard to create all that you desire without the nurturing vital force of spirit? Perhaps you're in a creative slump, suffering writer's block, facing a monumental task, unable to decide on your first step. I'm not really getting this actually for your guys' guidance, but what I'm getting overall is just understanding that when you're creating anything and kind of understanding that relationships are a creation, it's like you're building something together. There is a need for there to be moments where you're more in your masculine energy and your person's in the receptive, so receiving. Like the Six of Pentacles is about like giving that energy, especially when people are like down or need it, like definitely be there. But a part of being on a team is about being able to flip flop in these positions and not always having to be the one who's like the reliable one or the one who, never needs something, basically. Yeah, we have yin. So that's kind of just explaining that. We also have time to go at the back of the deck. Spirit's really wanting to call attention to understanding that the yin principle is all about receiving, and it's more about letting other people do for you, letting other people show you the path instead of, and that's also with to the sea here. It's about going with the flow and not kind of forcing something but not in a way where I'm like judging you doing that. It's more like understanding that you're taking away from yourself. And when we show the universe, when we're in our masculine, we can't be in our feminine. And so understanding that there's a need to bring balance to that. And it's almost like understanding a certain method that we're using to build relationships or to build whatever in life is maybe imbalanced because we're too much in the masculine, meaning that then maybe we have partners who expect to receive everything. So if we're always in our masculine, we're going to attract something that is always in its feminine, so doesn't do much, doesn't actually take much action for the good of the relationship. And so I'm just seeing that Spirit's really saying moving forward that there needs to be a give and take in relationships, and understanding that what the underlying root cause for finding relationships like this is, and also understanding that Spirit definitely would want to empower you to ask for more and to lean into your receptive energy and see what happens, because this feels like someone who is attracted into your energy field in a time period where you didn't really understand that you deserve to receive as well. And so I want to read you a little bit of the second one. So it says, this is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming for you, ready to accept it when it appears. Yin does not involve frozen dreams or resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you. And that's the Tooth to See card as well. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to happen. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you will see how quickly your relationship manifests. So with the relationship message, it says, let others take the lead right now. Your power lies in small gestures, soft awareness, and conscious surrender. By yielding the reins, you'll find yourself effortlessly moving closer to what you truly desire. And that's that 9 of Cups. Permit others to tell you who they are and who they can be to you by allowing their actions to speak about them. So yeah, kind of moving into an era where you are being more conscious of what does this person's actions tell me and what have I received from this person, and just it doesn't mean that we become selfish and we only want people to do stuff for us, but it's about kind of understanding that balance and understanding that for something to be successful, it does need the more balanced component and element to it. Okay, I'm gonna get a sip of water. All right, let's look at what we're gonna go into for the extended reading for this pile. So to answer the overall question, though, I am not seeing that this is a connection that is there. It feels like there's fundamental cracks in the foundation that are preventing this from being something that is successful. And it could even be that once you kind of understand that you want to receive more, you might even see this person as too immature, or it would just become very clear that they're not really the best option. Yeah. Okay. What should we look at in the extended? We have the 3 of Cups. We have the Knight of Cups. The Page of Rods. The 3 of Pentacles. So a lot about collaboration. Yeah, a lot about who you're surrounded with. Let me get a couple more. What do we look at for the extended? We have the King of Rods and the Queen of Rods. I love that. Okay. So Spirit wants to talk about how to step more into your confidence energy and what to look for in a person. Yeah, because I'm seeing this counterpart energy coming in, and I feel like Spirit just wants to talk about, I'm going to get overall love advice, but I do see a counterpart energy here. So we'll talk about this King of Wands energy. Yeah, who you'll attract into your life once you shift your energy, and what kinds of partnerships to be looking out for, how to navigate your love life and maybe even your social circle. It could even be that like there's a lot of people around you, or it's like kind of hard to know what people's intentions are, but there's a sense of Spirit saying that pile number 1, you deserve someone who has the vision, has confidence, vision, and follow through. Like that'd be the best way to describe like your ideal person. And like the Knight of Cups and the Page of Rods are people that can definitely come through with like a dreaminess. Like they can kind of be romantic and like be in that night kind of energy, but I feel like what you really need is like a level up. So let's see, how do we level up your spiritual life? That's what I want to, or your spiritual, what? Your love life. How do we work on leveling up? How do we work on discernment, where to put your energy, everything about that. So I really appreciate you guys listening. If you found any value in this, I really do appreciate if you can take the time to hit the like button. It makes such a huge difference for my channel. So thank you. Leave a comment if you also have time. I love to read them. I do read them and they are helpful for me. And subscribe so you don't miss the next pick a card reading. And I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. We are going to be looking at whether or not the person that you have on your mind, if there is a potential for a happy relationship with them. So I'm leaving it pretty open. This is really meant to be something that helps you gauge whether or not you should stay on the course that you're on, whether you should keep pouring energy into the person we're talking about, if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, or it doesn't even have to be a situation where it's already chaotic. It can just be a situation that you want to know how it's going to develop. Is there real potential here? Yeah, so I think it's extremely important for this reading to do an energy check-in where we're looking at what the energy is like in this connection, especially from your perspective, just to help out with your intuition so you'll know exactly who this is about, and if this is a relationship that you're interested in hearing a tarot reading about. So, Spirit, please have me in to those who chose the blue calcite crystal. What is the energy like, especially from pile number 2's perspective in regards to this person? We'll start off with this and then we'll go into where the connection is likely headed. All right. Pile number 2, Spirit. What is the current dynamic here, especially from pile number 2's perspective? What's currently going on? We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. We have the Magician in reverse. We have the Queen of Pentacles also in reverse. The whole deck is not in reverse, but that's okay. Reversals definitely are not a negative thing. I'm just taking additional information from it. What is the current dynamic from pile number 2's perspective? All right, we have Justice here. We also have the 8 of Cups upright. Okay, King of Pentacles at the back of the deck. Okay, I'm gonna get a sip of my yerba mate. Okay. So this is interesting because I said to pile number 1, and this is something I'll probably put in the intro. This is like my ADHD brain going. Now I have like 2 things I need to explain, but I have realized doing my intros after the readings is best because I find that Spirit switches things up sometimes. So I like to have the most accurate intro. But anyways, what I would want to tell you guys is that, you know, could be a scenario. I'm definitely not meaning for this to be a reading that is only for people that are in really hectic or chaotic relationships. It's just for people that want more clarity on whether or not something is worth fighting for. And so I am getting that this could be a situation definitely that goes either way, because I am seeing that for this connection, there's a sense of emotional disconnect, but it also feels like each person, or at least from your perspective, it's like there is a question of, should we fight for this? You know, with the 7 of Wands in reverse, there's almost this feeling of, in the Magician in reverse, of I don't know if I should fight for what I want. Like, should I fight for this relationship? This is like the way it feels. This is definitely something that I feel like you feel iffy on. This is a connection where, with the King of Cups in reverse, it almost feels like maybe there are unsaid emotions. And with the Queen of Pentacles, it just maybe is a situation where you don't exactly know where you stand with this person. With the King of Pentacles being at the back of the deck, I feel like there could have even been misunderstandings. I'm just getting that there's maybe a lack of communication or a lack of honest and direct communication where each person is kind of saying exactly what they want and what they need from the connection. Um, yeah, it feels like there's kind of just a disconnect in this connection. I'm not in the way that it's coming through is maybe you feel a little bit like, I don't know if it's worth kind of bothering with this person. For example, I'm not getting that there's been like a ton of betrayal in this or this person's let you down a bunch. It almost just feels like you don't really know if it's worth like investing your energy. And this maybe is because of previous experiences you've had. And I feel like maybe you're looking to feel very sure about yourself and sure about your partner's feelings. And it's almost like you want someone who's going to make you feel really safe and like nurtured or heard in the connection. I feel like you really do want that. Um, but I also feel like this may be a group where you guys, I'm not trying to call you out or anything. It's not that intense, but it's almost this feeling of, oh no, it's not the right person. I'm gonna not this person because of this reason, or almost like finding a reason or finding a reason why you shouldn't be vulnerable or a reason why you shouldn't like put yourself out there or fight for something. Like I am kind of getting that for some of you, maybe there is a little bit more of an avoidant energy. It doesn't mean that you've always been that way, but there is just this sense that I don't really know if it's like everything's here or not. Because with the magician talks about having everything you need, like having whatever you need to create what you want to manifest. And so there's almost this feeling here where for some of you, maybe you guys have even gotten in the habit of maybe being too selective. That is not to be the case for everyone, but I'm just getting this energy of kind of wanting to co-create something here, like a kind of relationship, but maybe wanting to pass up on the part where it still takes like work and there's still a part where you have to, there's still going to be arguments, there's still going to be uncomfortable moments, it's still going to be difficult. And so it's kind of understanding that step one, I definitely think it's super important to move away from situations that have red flags or situations that are just really not fulfilling for you. But it's also important to understand when maybe it is time to put more energy into something or to give grace to a situation and go, okay, it's not perfect, so how can I make it better? And asking yourself, have I taken those steps to make sure it's really clear what I want? Things like that. And yeah, and with justice being here, it's kind of, for me, reflecting that justice in general talks about relationships, right? It relates to Libra and it relates to making sure that both people in a situation are heard very clearly. Like just think about like the justice system, for example. It's like, it's about making sure that you're presenting your case. And like justice itself isn't about being agreeable or something. Like being fair to other people doesn't mean that you don't speak up for what you have issues with or what you're not happy with. So I'm getting that this is the dynamic here where there may be certain things that you aren't happy with, but there's also certain things that you maybe haven't spoken up about, or a part of you is maybe wanting to just kind of like distance yourself or move away because it is difficult and it does require vulnerability, and maybe you don't really want to stir up any chaos, or there's kind of just this energy here where with this person it feels like you're holding back on getting too invested or too emotionally invested because either maybe you've been independent or you've been hurt in the past, and so there's like kind of this hyper independence, Yeah, but I'm just seeing that there could just be a pattern, and like this person's falling into that pattern where like you aren't really sure if you want to fight for the connection. Like you aren't really sure if you want, or maybe this person is that way. There's just like an energy here where it's kind of like lukewarm, or it could go either way, but um not anywhere quick. It's like someone needs to be decisive here. Someone needs to speak up and say how they feel, and not beat around the bush, about do we want commitment? Like, what do we want in this situation? Because there's just a sense of being more active and being more like forthcoming and upfront about exactly what you want is also as important as like putting your foot down and kind of walking away from something that you don't want. And so sometimes we can get very comfortable in one energy, and I feel like this is a dynamic where maybe it would be a good idea to lean into calling out if you didn't like something, you know what I mean, and saying your boundaries, or basically just not like going along to get along and then kind of being like, wait, why isn't this emotionally fulfilling? And for me, this feels like someone where there's room to grow the emotional connection, but it would require putting yourself out there and speaking up for what you want. And yeah, so this is a dynamic. I want to just make it really clear. It's not a situation where this person has been like abusive in any kind of a way. It's a dynamic where it's almost like it could go either way, but it's like important to be really honest with yourself about whether or not, if you're sabotaging the connection by almost wanting to like walk away before you really gave it the best shot you could. So I definitely am getting that energy for this pile. Yeah. And so and in a way it can become self-sabotage to not speak up for what you want and then kind of be like, well, this person, I wasn't happy with them anyways. But it's like, did you really fight for it? And so it's kind of funny because pile number one, and this is why, and this is something that Jess Puckett says a lot on her channel. It just talks about how like no energy is inherently good or bad. It's more like a certain medicine, or a certain energy could be medicine for a situation or poison, depending on the balance of energy that's already there. And I feel like that's what tarot reading is honestly about, is like finding where the imbalance is and just kind of pushing the person to lean into a certain energy and maybe lean away from a certain kind of energy. So for you guys, I would see that this is someone where I don't feel like there's been a lot of drama or like intensity, but it's almost like if we aren't, but it could be because we're not as emotionally invested as we could be, and we're maybe not being as vulnerable as we could be. So yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting here. I'm going to stick with that. So if that resonates, this is definitely your pile. If not, you might want to check out the energy check-in really quick for the other piles. Definitely happens sometimes that we pick a different pile, and it's not a bad sign or anything. That's why I do the energy check-in. So, okay. One second. Sorry, I needed to close a door that was bothering me that it was open. But anyways, let's get into this. So the question that we are asking is there a potential happy future with this person? What advice does Spirit have for you specifically in regards to this person, to help you get a better understanding of whether or not putting more energy in would be helpful for the connection, or whether or not it would be wasting your energy. So can you let us know where this connection is likely headed, or what the potential is, and whatever advice you have for pile number 2 as well? We'll kind of see what Spirit comes through with. I've recently been learning to just take Spirit's lead, especially you can think you want some specific information, but Spirit will tell you what's important. So what does pile number 2 need to hear in regards to the potential? Okay, we have the 8 of Cups here. We have the 6 of Wands. We have the Moon. I'm hearing you'll never know unless you try. We have the 9 of Wands in reverse. Literally. That's funny. Because the Nine of Wands is about perseverance. And even if there has been hiccups or there has been issues, about kind of not standing your ground, but yeah, in a way, finding the strength to maintain the journey that you're on. It's the 9. It's right before the 10. So you're almost at the end of the journey. And it's about persevering even though there have been difficulties. What else, Spirit, for pile number 2? Yeah, okay, we have the 2 of Wands here, and then the Knight of Wands in reverse, and the 9 of Cups at the back of the deck. So there's a very clear-cut message coming through for this pile. It's so important that you guys are listening to the energy check-in, though, because I just want to make sure that these are accurate for you. 100% pile number 2, this is a scenario where there is definitely potential for happiness and your happiness, your fulfillment, a happy relationship. I'm also going to let you guys know, for a lot of you, I do think that this could be your person's reading. I don't want to throw you off with that, but if you guys were drawn to this and you guys are like, I don't know, I'm just saying this advice could be for someone who needs to take more action in the relationship. And so if that's you, then you'll know that. But if that's your person, it maybe is a reading where you're meant to hear the other side of it. Just want to put like that disclaimer in there. What I'm seeing for you guys, pile number 2, is I think sometimes you guys may have a hard time taking action anyways, even if the outcome is unknown. For you, I feel like can be kind of a fear of taking a risk, or there's a very conservative energy. So for a lot of you guys, I definitely could see maybe if you guys have had your heart broken, or maybe you guys have worn your heart on your sleeve, or you guys have taken a risk in the past and it didn't end up working out. I could see maybe that being a potential reason why there is this energy here. But Spirit is bringing so much emphasis to the fact that there is a difference with the 8 of Cups here of walking away from something where you've tried everything and you've emotionally invested in it and it didn't work out, versus walking away before you gave it your all or gave it what it deserved, right? That's almost what I want to say. Giving it the chance that it deserves. Making sure that we aren't deciding preemptively that a situation, because it isn't clear cut, because we don't know exactly what to do, because there will be challenge, there will be adversity, conflict within relationships. Every good relationship has challenges and unknowns. And like literally in psychology, in relationship psychology, it's a well-known thing that the best relationships are not relationships where there are not conflict, because without conflict, there really is no investment. There is no relationship that's really even there. It's about how we respond to challenge, how we respond to conflict, how we respond to finding peace, like with the justice, finding like almost compromise, or finding truth and peace and balance with another person. And like that's what a relationship is. It's definitely a difficult thing, right? And I feel like for you guys, there maybe is this energy of being more comfortable alone, or just being comfortable with only having to deal with your own challenges. But then I see you pushing away happiness and pushing away something that could make you really happy and fulfilled if you were willing to take the risk on it. And so Spirit is 100% saying, yes, there's so much potential in this connection. We literally, the 9 of Cups here, we have advice with the 2 of Wands. The 2 of Wands is all about having a decision, basically having options and needing to plan what direction you're going to go in. And I feel like with the Knight of Wands here being in reverse, there's an energy here of Spirit saying that you may be holding back on following your passion, or following like your natural desires, or taking risks, basically taking real action. Because the Knight of Wands is a character that is confident, and maybe too confident sometimes. The Knight of Wands does take missteps, right? There may be an energy here where you're thinking things so thoroughly through, or it could even be that you overthink things to a point where you don't take any action, so then you never really see what would have happened or what the truth would have been. And there's a message here coming through of sometimes the only way we can learn about ourselves even, or other people is through seeing what actually happens. And sometimes the only way to know is to just do it and just see what happens, because there's an energy here being overly cautious or being afraid of looking foolish or being afraid of taking some kind of a risk. And even the way that the moon, like this panda's balancing on it, like almost afraid to fall off or afraid to get distracted. But it's almost this energy of like leap. I'm also seeing, when there's actually a really cute download, but I'm seeing almost like a TikTok or a video of a dog where they're afraid to like take a step down the stairs or something, or like, when dogs randomly get really afraid of something that us humans know what it is, but because they're dog, obviously, like sometimes they don't know what our, like when they get really afraid of a vacuum, or they get afraid to walk up and down the stairs, or they get afraid of something because it's unknown, but to us it's like we know that they'll be fine and it's not what they're thinking it is. But I'm seeing this same kind of energy here, like the same kind of hesitation and being afraid of how you're going to look, and being afraid to take risk here, and being afraid to make the wrong decision, and because of that, potentially losing out on an opportunity where you could be really happy. And understanding that in order to I'm hearing high risk, high reward. Like if we never take any risks, we're not going to really achieve much, and we're not going to experience or live our life to the fullest. And so there's kind of an energy here where it's like, what's the point of life if we're kind of, and I'm hearing because of you, like I never stray too far. So there could be something that happened in your past that just you're afraid of it repeating. You're afraid of opening up in a way and taking action. But Spirit is saying in this case, it's actually really important that you do at least try, that you aren't the reason why it doesn't kind of pan out because of holding back actions, not taking actions, not saying things that you want to say, giving up too soon, or just kind of thinking that the situation has too many challenges before it's really been given a fair shot at being successful. And Spirit's saying it does require active planning, active participation in order for there to be success. Because the Six of Wands is all about success. And Spirit's saying, I'm hearing shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's an energy here like that. Like this will always be one of those scenarios, because deep down in your heart, and if this doesn't resonate, this is how you know it's not your pile, but if this resonates, deep down in your heart, you know that there's something here and there's something worth exploring. But there are like layers of fears that are holding you back and kind of talking you down or telling you, it's not worth it, or, we're fixating on something that's wrong or something that could go wrong. But understanding that that's kind of like a way of procrastinating and not really, almost Spirit's just saying like, you'll never know unless you try. And for every great success, there is this fear of not knowing what's going to happen. And Spirit really wants you to know there is a great window of opportunity here, and it would be too early to give up. And so this is for those of you who haven't clearly expressed what you want, who I'm almost getting this energy of almost a miscommunication in a movie where one person, let's say someone really wanted them, this is like high school or whatever. There's a school dance and there's two people that like each other. And one person hesitates to ask the other person. Let's say that this is kind of like stereotypical gender roles, but whatever, I'm going to roll with it for this example. Let's say that the girl, it's not a Sadie Hawkins dance. It's like where the guy is meant to ask the girl. And so the girl is waiting, really hoping that this guy is going to ask her and really likes him. But this guy's in this energy and is like, oh no, like she might say no, I might look stupid. In the past, like someone said no to me. So I'm, and that ended up being very unfulfilling. So I might as well save myself now by not even asking. And, it's almost like this energy of being afraid of getting close to something that you really want, because when we get close to things we really want, there's more opportunity for things to hurt. There's more opportunity to feel loss, but it's kind of like that energy of it's better to have loved and lost than not have loved at all. Anyways, but going back to the example is like, then the girl gets asked by someone else because someone else stepped up sooner, but that girl didn't even want to go with the other guy. It's just that the other guy is the person that made the plan sooner and, made their intentions known. And then the guy sees that the girl got asked and is like, okay, I'm glad I didn't ask because, she probably wanted to go with him anyways. Like, this is exactly why I didn't ask. And then it's like later on down the road, there's just this moment where it's like, I should have asked that person, or, deep down, is there maybe a reason? Did I maybe get in the way of this? And when we're really honest with ourselves, we know that we didn't give it our all. And so, in my opinion, and I think spirit backs it up, is definitely if you feel like something's in alignment with you and you feel happy, yes, there's going to be challenges. That's not a sign that it's not for you or it's always going to hurt you. It's understanding that life is like that. Life is very unknown. There's ups and downs, but there's no way of running away from that. Like, even if we want to try to control our environment and keep things really safe, there's always going to be a downside to that, and it just creates its own imbalance and its own dysfunction. And so I'm just really seeing that for this case. It's like you may be benefiting in the sense that you're taking less risk, but then you're also losing out on potential happiness, and maybe you're going to be in a more boring life, or you're going to be safe yet bored, and again, I wouldn't give this advice to someone who has been almost trying to force something to work with someone. Obviously in that case, they should take your mentality. But in the case where, in this circumstance with this person, maybe there has been a lack of action or there has been miscommunication, it's important to say what you need to say, and just kind of be bold in that way. And so there's this strong energy here of spirit really saying that this is one of those scenarios. There's definitely potential for success here, but there is a need for you to take action, and actually plan out like the future, like what you want, in a more active way, and to try to not be passive and then kind of find evidence as to why it couldn't have worked. This is one of those scenarios. So, and for those of you that you feel like this is your person, yeah, it could be. I just feel like the ball is in someone's court a little bit. Yeah, to kind of express their feelings and kind of risk that stability that comes with being vulnerable. There's just a strong feeling of risking that, and maybe in the past, maybe someone didn't really fight for what they wanted or something. And so it will slip between the fingers, and then eventually there will be a moment where it's like, wow, I should have, given that more of my energy, given that a better shot. And like, it's that energy if I would have rather tried, and like if it didn't work out, that isn't on me. But it's one of those times where it's like, it's, in my opinion, it's worse when things are on me, where it's like I am the reason why that opportunity didn't work out. If it didn't naturally work out, then we can just like make peace with that and accept it. But on the other, there's also a high chance that it would make you extremely happy. So it's worth it to take that risk here, especially for those of you that are learning to kind of open up in connections. And you would know that you have maybe been a little bit closed off to love in the past, or like in the recent times that you guys would know that, because there's a little bit of like independence here, and in a fear to get too emotionally attached or too emotionally involved. And so it's a little bit avoidant, honestly. But anyways, let's get some oracle cards. All right, we have orphans here. Can we clarify this energy, spirit? We have time for a nap. We have message in a bottle. And we also have happy, happy. Yep. I'm not surprised to see the happy here. Yeah, so what I'm really seeing is, I do think there was some experience that you guys had where you felt pretty left out or pretty hurt by something. And with this orphan card being here, there is a need. What's really interesting is there's almost a similar dynamic to pile number one, but almost opposite, if anything, where there could be this automatic projection that things are going to be just like the past, or kind of this energy of like a tainted feeling, almost like the way that we know that, like if you were an orphan, it's almost like that energy can kind of stay with you. And even if you do achieve certain things, there could be like a fundamental part of you that just feels unworthy or feels unlovable, And so there's this sense that there may be a need to address an internal feeling about that, or what you've experienced, or even if it's like a sense of unworthiness hiding behind like avoiding opportunity, or telling ourselves that we're fine on our own, like we don't need it. And also a time for a nap. I am getting this in the reverse position. Like there's a sense here that this is a time, this is not a time to like sleep on opportunities. And it rarely does this card come out in this way, but I almost want to read it because I'm getting it in the reverse energy. I'm just getting overall that Spirit's kind of saying that what am I getting? I'm getting this energy of Spirit explaining that you can flow with this energy too. Like it may even be that in your mind you may feel like if this is going to work, you have to like fight against all of these odds. And I don't know, there's kind of maybe an all or nothing energy here where it's almost like if you do take action, you feel like you have to go above and beyond and it has to be like perfect or all this energy. But I'm almost getting what Spirit's saying is it's not necessarily that Spirit's wanting you to be over the top championing this energy. It's more about just being receptive is what I'd want to say. Being receptive to the opportunity and making sure that when with message in a bottle, like Spirit's saying, I feel like you're getting green lights and I feel like you're getting messages about this person or signs to move forward. And it's more about moving in a way that what Spirit's almost trying to tell you is that they are guiding you through this. And a part of you may feel like maybe like you're discounting a little bit the psychic help that you're getting, and understand that Spirit will give you red flags if there's a real reason for there to be a red flag. But they also give you green flags, And so with happy being here, I'm just getting this sense of understanding that you don't always need to be on the lookout for negative things, but that it's important to act on signs that things are going in the right direction, or signs that, this person is a good opportunity for you. It's like you're in sync with them, things like that. And with message in a bottle too, I'm also getting about communication, making sure that we don't sleep on a chance to communicate. Let me see anything else. Yeah, it says you can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, phone call, or email. You are an intended receiver of this message, so stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. So yeah, it's almost this energy of like, if this person that we're talking about does reach out, it's about being very receptive and reciprocal, and not kind of letting a sense of fear or low self-esteem cause you to not seem as interested, or to not, not really, I don't know. There's just an energy here of making sure that you do show that you care about this person, or that you want this opportunity. And that starts with acknowledging that this is someone, I think, that does make you happy, even if there are challenges, there are blockages with every relationship, there are, but it's about not denying ourselves of obvious signs that we are happy in a dynamic. Yeah. It says, there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with, and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card in a reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in a far future. The grass is the greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of it to itself like honey to bees. And so it also says your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing, and able to experience liberation that comes from actually being happy from moment to moment. And it says being happy. So essentially, I think spirit is also calling out that there could be this energy of maybe thinking in the future there will be success, but like for right now, I don't know. Like there may be an energy of missing out on what's going on at the present moment, and thinking, oh, like maybe down the line there could be more success, or like once I'm more confident in the future or something like that. But understand, not putting it off, not procrastinating on taking action by separating yourself from the present moment, either by looking to the past and thinking, oh, like I'm living in the past and the present, so there's this light of what negatively happened on the past on the current situation that's dampening it, or maybe not taking action towards something because you think there'll be more opportunity in the future, or something like that is kind of what I'm seeing. Yeah, so there's just kind of this energy of letting yourself trust in your ability to be happy, to in the present moment attract things that are in alignment with yourself, and understand that like you'll be able to listen to your intuition if there is something that is a red flag. But understanding that we don't want to start seeing through a lens that's distorted, because it's through a lens of feeling I don't know, almost like we're damaged or we don't have the energy for it. Because I'm really just getting this sense of, I don't know if I have the energy to do this, but it's asking yourself, is that really the truth, or is it that there's like fears holding you back? And yeah, essentially like that. And I am seeing, wow, I'm seeing TikTok in here and now. Yeah, there's a call to be present. Spirit's almost asking for you to not think so far ahead to a point where it's getting in the way of what you're doing now, and learning to be more authentic right now. Be honest with your feelings, be honest with the actions that you take, without worrying so much about the future or what future problems there might be, or whether or not it's going to be successful. It's more about living in the present moment and flowing with life as it's happening, without making it so linear or making it so logical, kind of just letting yourself flow with what you're feeling in the dynamic. All right. I'm trying to think, did I get any other? I think that is where I'm going to leave that for this reading. I do want to we're going to be doing an extended reading, so I'm going to ask Spirit what to look at for your pile. What would be really helpful for pile number 2, if you've been resonating with this, those that have really been resonating, what additional information should we go into for the extended? We have the Ace of Rods. We have Judgment. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Wands. And the Hermit. Okay. And then the Three of Pentacles at the back of the deck. So I feel like Spirit wants to talk about, with Judgment here and the Ace of Rods, I'm just seeing that it's kind of a continuation of what we've been talking about, but Spirit wants to talk to you about how you can kind of implement what we've been saying. So I do see that there is opportunity. I do see that you've been holding yourself back. Spirit almost wants to give you more advice and more clarity around specifically how you can make sure that you are reciprocating, or that you are putting the effort in instead of like isolating yourself. So there's an energy here of how can you, let's go more into depth about how you can make sure that you're seizing opportunities, and make sure that you're being honest with yourself about whether or not you're putting in the effort that you know you could, that you're fighting for something instead of kind of hiding away. So yeah, this, for me, this feels like, what can you do to implement what we've been talking about in this reading? So yeah, I'm going to leave it pretty open for Spirit to give you any advice that you need, anything else about this connection as well. And we'll be getting different kinds of guidance cards as well. So if that sounds interesting for you, I will have it linked down below, but that is what I have for the YouTube. So it really does support my channel if you are able to hit the like button. If you have the time, I love to read your guys' comments. So thank you for doing that. And subscribe so you don't miss the next Pick a Card reading. And I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Chrysalis Tarot and the Orange Calcite, this is going to be your reading where we're looking at whether or not there is potential with the person that you're asking about, if there's potential for a happy relationship. This reading is really intended to help you figure out whether or not you should keep your hopes up and continue to pour energy in, continue to think about this person and to continue to try for a future with them, or whether or not it's a situation that your energy would be better invested somewhere else. So we are going to do an energy check-in where I'm going to look at where the connection is at right now. So I'm going to ask for you to hold the person that you want to know about in your mind for a second as we pull this. So for pile number 3, Spirit, what is the current energy of the person that they're asking about, of the connection with them? Especially from pile number 3's perspective, how will they know that this is their reading? Please give them confirmation in regards to how they feel about the connection or any details of the connection that can help them know that this is their person. So what is the current energy, Spirit, from pile number 3's perspective? We have the 9 of Mirrors, which is the 9 of Cups. We have the 3 of Stones, or the 3 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Mirrors. We have the Hermit. The 4 of Cups, or the 4 of Mirrors. We have the Knight of Scrolls in reverse, which is the Knight of Swords in reverse. Or the Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay, and then the 2 of Cups at the back of the deck. Okay, so this is coming through with a pretty loving energy, especially from the more feminine side. It feels like this is someone that you really want to connect with emotionally. With the 3 of Pentacles being here and the Queen of Cups, I can tell this is someone you really, really care about. I think you really adore this person. And I would say, just in general as a check-in, I am getting a kind of psychic vibe, or I feel like you guys would be considered empaths with the Queen of Cups here and the Hermit. There's just a feeling of that. And so I feel like you guys are kind of dreamy and emotional. I feel like, yeah, you guys are very in touch with your inner child, but so there's a feeling that this could be someone that you aren't sure how they feel about you, but this is someone that you definitely feel like there is a strong connection or a strong soulmate tie here. With the 4 of Cups, it could be that you, and the Knight of Swords in reverse, it may be that this person hasn't explicitly told you how they feel about you, or it's like maybe you don't want to jump to conclusions about how they feel. There's almost a feeling of you don't know, maybe this person isn't 100% interested, but it's like you really want a connection with this person. You really want to understand them. I'm just getting this vibe of you kind of wanting this person to open up to you more, or wanting them to know that they can rely on you, that you're trustworthy, and that it's like you want to support them and help them is kind of what I'm getting. But again, it's like you don't want to jump to conclusions. You guys may be the type of person that that you can get caught up in your feelings. So yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else coming through. I feel like you feel an intuitive connection to this person, but it's almost like you may be afraid that you guys aren't on the same page, is what I'm seeing. But you really do hope that there's a feeling here that you may hope that this person spends time. Maybe they're a little bit distant from you too, or this person may go through time periods where they're a little bit more distant, maybe emotionally. And I feel like I'm hearing let me in. So it's like you almost want this person to let you in more. And it's like you give this person a lot of compassion and grace. There's a sense of you maybe thinking that this person needs time alone, or it's like you're respecting if they need space or if they need time or something to work out their own emotional situation. Um, and in the meantime, it's like you're kind of allowing for there to be a little bit less action or less um yeah, less actual communication action, or like I'm just seeing that you feel like psychically connected to them, but it's like you would honor if they are still figuring things out. So this could be someone where it's like they may get in their head a lot, or they may just be kind of reclusive sometimes. And it may be just hard to know how they're feeling because they may not be super open with their emotions. And so I could see this being someone where it's like you really are hoping for the best and wanting something with them. Like you want them to trust you, but it's almost like I feel like I can hear you guys saying it might be a long shot, or I don't know if this person's like emotionally available or wanting, or if they see me the same way. It kind of feels like that. So yeah, if this sounds something like your situation, then you definitely found the right pile. If not, you might want to check out the energy check-in for the other piles. Definitely could happen that you're more drawn to another one, or this could be someone else, and you may want to hear about if you are drawn to more than one pile. It may be that there's multiple people that you have options with. And I'm even kind of hearing with the Two of Mirrors here as I'm seeing this. It's like I'm hearing the "You Belong with Me" song. So it's like I'm almost getting that energy from you, like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift came through a lot in this reading specifically, but there's kind of like an innocent energy to you where it's like you have a very sweet, caring heart. I would be surprised if you guys don't have like water in your chart somewhere, or earth. All right, Spirit. Now we're gonna tap in and see where this connection is likely headed, and from there, you can kind of figure out whether or not, and I'll guide you as well, but we'll kind of see, is there potential for a happy relationship here? Like, is this relationship going to evolve, progress? Is there hope here? Is essentially what I'm looking to get at. Spirit, what is the potential of this connection, and anything else that you want pile number 3 to know about this connection? There will be an extended reading, and I will be asking Spirit what to go into. All right, what do we need to know about this connection? What does pile number 3 most need to know about where it's headed, where it can go? We have the Page of Spirals, which is the Page of Wands. We have the 10 of Spirals, 10 of Wands. We have the 3 of Scrolls in reverse, which is the 3 of Swords in reverse. We have the 5 of Pentacles. I have New Soul, that song. I was listening to it earlier, but it's really playing in my head right now. It's like there's a very innocent vibe about you guys, or like this vibe of just you guys. I feel like you guys really do mean well. I feel like you guys are sweet souls. What's the potential for this connection? All right, we get Judgment in reverse, and then we have the Chariot in reverse, and then the High Priestess at the back of the deck. Okay. So I feel like Spirit is letting me know, number one, that you guys, it's really coming through that you guys are very intuitive. And so the first thing I want to say is that I definitely could see, um, if you guys are relating to this storyline so far in the energy, I'm just getting this feeling of, you guys being the type of people who sees the best in others. And because you're psychically connected to others, it's almost like, I think you can kind of catch feelings for people because you like feel the vibes on an emotional or like a spiritual level. And so I feel like this is someone where you feel this connection to, but I feel like where it becomes more challenging is like what spirit is indicating is that yes, there is like an attraction here and there is like a spark between you, and you're definitely not out of line for that or crazy, you know? But I am seeing with the Five of Stones, this talks about feeling kind of left out in the cold. And I feel like I'm seeing you having this kind of enthusiasm. And I'm not surprised to see this mime. Like I'm just getting this like lighthearted energy from you. Um, and I feel like what Spirit is telling me is that you guys are very optimistic, and Spirit's saying that the more you get involved with this person, there's this feeling here that there's. I'm trying to explain this clearly. It's almost like you may be underestimating the baggage that this person has. And I don't mean that in a negative way or like a condescending way. It's more like I think that this person that you are interested in has a lot of unresolved emotional wounds and trauma that they still need to work through. And so I feel like you're seeing this person to their soul and their core, and it's like you see who they are when they're at their best. But there's this sense of like, I'm kind of hearing a fool's errand, and like this came through for myself recently, or like I don't know, Spirit sent me this term, and it's kind of this energy where sometimes we can be like overly optimistic about something because we don't like fully see the details or the depth of the scenario or all the work that it would take. And so I feel like what Spirit's almost saying is this would be a scenario I feel like where you'd want to pour energy into this person, but because of where they're at and because it's like they're not in a place where they're healed themselves, so it's like they're not emotionally available. um it feels like there's a lot of things that would happen where it's like you would get excited, and then it's like because this person isn't in the best space, it's almost like I feel like the way they respond to you without like matching your kind of energy or your compassion and like loving energy, and your positivity, I see you feeling, maybe taking it a little bit personally and feeling rejected by this person, when Spirit's saying that it doesn't have anything to do with you. It really has a lot to do with that this person hasn't worked through a lot. And it's like you're feeling this psychic connection to them. But what Spirit is saying is that the more involved you get, the more deep you'll see it goes. And it's interesting how the wands are spirals, because I am kind of seeing it where it's like a spiral. It's like on the surface, it doesn't seem like things would be that complicated, or it's like you feel optimistic about this person, but there's just this sense that with Judgment in reverse here too, it's almost like there may be a slight overestimation of how much we can actually help people or heal people, and how much of a burden and a weight this would put on you energetically. Um, And so it's like what Spirit's saying is like with the Three of Scrolls here in reverse, until this is healed, um, it can't move forward, because with with the Chariot here, it's almost like, and this whole reading is almost Chariot themed, where it's like, do we want to move forward here or do we want to back up and reevaluate? And for this relationship, I'm definitely getting it's one of those scenarios where I definitely don't want to invalidate your feelings for this person, because I think that they do admire you and do see the charm that you have. But it's one of those things where it's like they don't have the energy or like the bandwidth, or they don't have enough space to truly give you what you deserve. And so I can see you feeling disappointed or hurt that you weren't able to kind of build a relationship with this person, but it's because they aren't receptive. And it's like with the 10 of spirals, this is the 10 of wands. So it's like it would just be this burden. And so what Spirit's really saying is there's an underestimation with judgment in reverse of what you can actually do for this person given their state they're in. And it may be that you don't know 100% what they're going through on the inside, or maybe you do. But I want to just reiterate because I want to make it really clear, so people aren't taking this answer if it isn't their situation. I just want to go over a couple things to make sure this is your reading. I'm definitely getting that this is someone that I do think you would have a strong connection with if they were in a healthier mind space, but there should be telltale signs that this person isn't super emotionally available, or at least not super emotionally open with you. If it is someone that is very emotionally open with you, this is not your pile. This is someone that, and you would have already seen some of this, but I'm seeing that you aren't feeling too beaten down yet. Like that sounds kind of dramatic, but you aren't losing your enthusiasm too much yet, is what I'm seeing. But Spirit's saying over time that it would become clear that maybe you didn't see clearly how it was going to play out, and how there is this huge wall of blockage due to unhealed emotional wounds and potential trust issues. And it's kind of that energy when we aren't really connected with ourselves, we can't really authentically connect with other people, and it's very hard to let other people in. And so I'm just seeing that this is one of those scenarios. And another thing that I'm feeling is that this would be someone where I feel like you have I feel like you act very lighthearted towards this person as well. So I just want to give you details, make sure that you are resonating with this. So I'm not telling you that this is a no-go and it's not your connection, Um, and I invite you, if this isn't necessarily the answer that you want to hear, or if you don't feel like it resonates, I would definitely check out another pile and see if it resonates more. But I do have to say what is coming through. Yeah, I'm just seeing this enthusiasm, and then this and I'm seeing how the Five of Stones is there's this fairy, and I am seeing this fairy, and it's the fairy feeling sad even though their energy is so beautiful and jovial and precious. There is this precious energy about you, but this feeling of maybe there's still a lesson to learn around understanding that we can't make other people heal, and it ends up becoming a strong burden when we do try to push forward a connection with someone who hasn't done their healing or isn't really available. And it's always that sad truth of kind of realizing that, and I wouldn't want you to feel led on too, because I feel like there can be situations like this where we kind of at the end of the day realize that it was never another person's fault how much energy we decided to invest into something. And so I feel like there's just a kind of lesson here, or a message from Spirit to make sure that you are aware that that you remember, in regards to the give and take of relationships, that we are the people who have to protect our energy and have to treat it as this precious thing, and to make sure that we aren't just kind of giving it away for free, or giving it to sources that aren't really using it, or they aren't able to return it, and then we end up feeling later on down the line, this feels like one of those scenarios later on down the line where it's it could get really frustrating here, where it's just I feel like I put energy into this, I feel like I put so much care into understanding who you are as a person and trying to get to know you and moving this forward. And it's almost like one of those moments where it's no matter how much we love someone or care about them, it's kind of realizing that no amount of how much we love someone can help them or heal them. And it's important to kind of remember that. So let's get some oracle cards. And I also want to say that take this reading with a grain of salt. This is just meant to better inform you on how to move forward. And at the very least, I hope that, moving forward, you can at least be a little bit more cautious and discerning. It doesn't mean that you have to cut it off. It's definitely give people a chance. But I feel like if you are getting signs that this person isn't really warming up or isn't really opening up in the same way that you are, you know, um, it's just kind of the fact that we have to be the ones to realize that, because a lot of times other people, like if they are in a bad place, it may be that they do enjoy your energy and they may give you that vibe that they do. And I'm not saying that they don't. It's more like, what are you getting out of it? Or there should be at least like an equal sharing of relationship or sharing of energy. Okay. Can we clarify this, please, Spirit? We have happy, happy. We have clean it up. Yeah. We have serendipity. Yeah. Okay. So in Spirit's really acknowledging that there's just a strong feeling of Spirit really wanting to explain that they understand that you do feel this connection psychically, or you feel that it is somehow um, spiritual in a way. And so sometimes when that happens, it's super confusing when the person isn't available, because it's like you feel this automatic connection, and it's possible that this is a soulmate or someone that you are familiar with on a soul level. Um, but it's like that person is still dealing with certain karma and things like that. And so it can be really confusing when we feel like energetically there's just this bond, and it's just confusing when it doesn't translate to being a successful relationship. Let's get one more and then we'll go into these. We also have TikTok here. Okay, so with this happy, happy card, I love that this is coming out, because I feel like this is Spirit saying you really do deserve to be happy. And Spirit's almost saying that with this clean it up card, this is really in reference to this Three of Swords, basically saying that this path is blocked, like this relationship path is blocked until this person kind of cleans up whatever is lingering from past pain. It's like they need to connect with themselves. And with Judgment in reverse, it could even be that this person is in a time period where they themselves are not super aware of their actions or super aware of themselves. And sometimes when we're not in the best state mentally, it's a lot harder to think of others and make sure that we are honoring them. So just, yeah, keeping that in mind, that it's almost like they have things that they need to clean up on their end of the street, and it's like they need to be happy. And I'm hearing kind of just the cliche of like, it's not going to be a fulfilling relationship unless this person also brings like these happy vibes, and that it'll become draining if you're the one who's kind of cheerleading, or I don't know, bringing this happy vibe. It's like you deserve to be with someone who's equally happy. And it's like inevitable that it will energetically weight you down. And so I want to read the reverse of the clean it up. I have them all upright, but I like to intuitively figure out which message is the best. So I'm going to read it. So it says, is it possible you may be focusing too much on other people right now? Trying too hard to be helpful? Does taking on what belongs to others make you feel needed or desired? Perhaps you think it's your calling to relieve people of their burdens, but what is the cost to you and to them? Don't clean up someone else's side of the street. And that's also the 10 of spirals, is that this person may also have a lot on their plate. Um, and so maybe that they're not even aware of the way they're 100% treating you, or it's almost like, yeah, but I am seeing this theme of like, there is a lot of energetic burden on this person's side, 100%. And it almost becomes your burden the more involved you get. But anyways, it says, don't clean up someone else's side of the street. You're not helping by freeing him or her of their responsibility. You're also not doing yourself any favors, and you just might be adding an even greater strain. You are loved as you are. You don't need to be needed to be loved. And so there may be patterns of that where maybe you're used to kind of putting your own needs aside and maybe like helping a parent, or maybe you had a parent that was like didn't regulate their emotions super well, so you maybe are used to kind of taking on responsibilities, or it could even be that you had to help people in your family. But it's almost like Spirit saying that your happiness comes first, and if someone else's vessel isn't clean, like isn't energetically in a high vibration, it doesn't mix then, it's not going to be, you will take on the energy. And so with TikTok being here, I do feel like Spirit is saying that this may be a divine timing scenario. And so I know this is going to be kind of annoying, but I do feel like there is a reason why you are drawn to this person, and Spirit's really wanting to validate that. And it may be that you guys aren't meant to come together right now, and it may be just a divine timing thing. And so this is an indication with the TikTok that there could be an opportunity down the line, but Spirit is saying to not like wait on that and just understand that it is in divine timing, meaning that it could get frustrating to wait on another person to heal before you get to have a fulfilling relationship. And so I do feel like this person will take more time than would make sense to wait for, but there may be an opportunity down the line is what I'm getting. Because we have 2 the sea underneath. And so I feel like Spirit's almost saying that like you'll know when the door is open. And like sometimes when we are psychic or tuned in that way, it's like you may be feeling that there's supposed to be like a connection. So it's really confusing that it's not aligning. But Spirit is saying that there could be a reason for this, and there's more orchestration going on about this. So that is what I have for you guys. I think for the extended, I do want to go into what Spirit is saying in regards to the divine timing on this, or what the spiritual plan or purpose is. Let's get more details on that, because my interest is peaked now. And so I want to look more into the serendipity in the TikTok card and see if Spirit will give any details about what we're kind of waiting for, or what is a possibility, because I feel like Spirit doesn't want to say like, oh yeah, this is a divinely guided connection and you will be with this person eventually, because then it's like they don't want you to wait on it, because as of right now it will bring your vibe down to try to put your energy towards this person. But I am seeing that you're drawn to them for a reason, and there is potentially something brewing. So let's look more into that in the extended if you are curious and feel like this really resonates. We'll also get you guidance in general on your love life. So we'll look at this. We'll see what's going on with that, if Spirit will reveal anything. And then we'll just get more overall guidance about your love life, anything else you need to hear, how to like level up, or how to move towards what you want right now in regards to love, any guidance on that. So that is what I have. I'll have that link down below, but that is what I have for the YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. If you did find this useful or interesting, it really supports my channel if you can hit the like button. Leave a comment if you have time. I do love to read them, and subscribe so you don't miss a next Pick a Card reading. And I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to the extended reading. I just want to say right off the bat, the song that I'm hearing in my head right now, which is so funny, is from Encanto, where it's like, I'm the strong one, I'm not nervous. And then it says like, basically she talks about how she doesn't know what her worth is if she isn't like the strong one. And so at first I was like, wait, is that like pile number 3's energy? And I'm like, no, I'm not really getting that. I'm getting a more emotionally vulnerable vibe, where I feel like you guys would be very willing to speak emotionally. And so I think maybe this person that we're asking about, they may have a complex where they feel like they need to be strong. They feel like they can't be struggling. And so maybe this person suppresses what they're going through and then refuses to open up about it because it's like they're not comfortable with it, and they may see it as a sign of weakness, dealing with like mental health issues or being upset, and so I'm just kind of getting that maybe that's something that's a blockage with this person, something that they're needing to work through. Yeah, because I am getting this vibe of you being like, I want you to open up to me, or like I would not judge this person. It's like there's this energy of you being like, I would love to support them, or be like that, but there's just this blockage that they have, I feel like. Okay, so I'm gonna ask, I am interested to see what comes through, but we're gonna ask what Spirit is willing to share about what this connection is about, or like what they mean by the TikTok, like what is unfolding, or can we get any hints at what the nature of this connection is, or what potential there is down the line, if not in the next year, but like, is there a deeper is there a deeper reason for this connection? Is this person meant to be a soulmate connection? Let's get the details on that, Spirit, if you're willing to share. What can you tell us about this connection? We have the 9 of Wands. The 3 of Pentacles. What can pile number 3 know about this relationship, or what do they need to know? What is okay for them to know? We have the Hangman. We have the 5 of Scrolls, which is the 5 of Swords. We have the 8 of Pentacles. And then we also have the World. And then Temperance at the back of the deck. Okay, I'm kind of getting a confirmation, basically. Spirit is saying, like, it's so funny that the 9 of Wands comes out, because the 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior. And I feel like that totally fits in with Luisa's character, like feeling like the need to be strong and stand strong despite what's happened. And I feel like with this 5 of Scrolls here, though, it's reflecting what's really going on the inside. It's like this person can sometimes feel like if they show weakness, or if they like ask for help, even, is what I'm getting. It's like they see this as a weakness. And so I feel like this person's very hard on themselves. And there's this sense of defeat, or like they have a sense of pride around doing things on their own, or not really needing help. It's like they see it as something that is like shameful. It's like they'd feel ashamed if they needed help. But with the 3 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles talks about collaboration and teamwork and support from other people. And even with like the 8 of Stones being here, it's like, it's this structure that I feel like would have taken a lot of time to build. And I'm seeing all these different kinds of animals here, and these different tools. And so it's almost this feeling of like, I'm imagining people building in like ancient Greece. Here, let me move this up. I didn't realize it wasn't fully in view. It's like people building in ancient Greece. And I feel like this would be the kind of person who is like missing a left arm or something, and they're insisting on building everything themselves. And it would go so much faster if they were willing to get help. It's like they don't have to do everything on their own. And so what Spirit's saying is this person can get really fixated in their own world, where they're just focused on their work, or they're focused on improving their skills, and kind of just basically not asking for help. Or it's like this person also may have a hard time delegating tasks, and this is almost like on a work front, but I also feel like in a relationship sense too. And so I feel like what Spirit is saying is this person needs to close out this chapter with the World being here in the Hangman, of insisting on doing things on their own and not being willing to be vulnerable. Because we have Temperance here, and I feel like that's so fitting, because Temperance is all about balance and not overdoing it. And I'm just kind of seeing this person like clearly they need a rest, or like it would make so much sense to be more moderate, or to be okay with, everything in moderation. It's like they don't need to be a powerhouse and power through their responsibilities and keep a happy face while doing it, And it's like I feel like this energy about them is what's blocking them off to being open in relationships, is how I feel. Because with the Hangman being here, it's like this is the energy that Spirit is calling this person to move into. And the Hangman is all about a moment where you realize like it's time to stop pushing forward. It's time to get a new perspective on this, and understand that maybe my perspective is limited. And if there are challenges and difficulties, it means it's probably a good idea to like hold back and look at the situation from a different perspective, or find different solutions. And so I feel like there's just this energy here where they're kind of stuck in this cycle of being stubborn about the way that they move forward in life. I think in regards to their work, I think it permeates a lot of their life, like with their friendships, relationships. There's just this sense of until this person is able to see this from a different perspective. And the hangman also can come with a enlightened perspective. That's why we have the owl. It's like they need to gain the wisdom. Um, they need to change their perspective on themselves and relationships and relying on other people. Because with the world being here, it's like spirit saying that this is a cycle that needs to close out. And so it depends on this person doing that because it is going to be up to them. It's like we all move through our lessons at the pace that we do. And that's why divine timing will be at play. And I feel like this could be a scenario where it's like they're not ready yet because they're still in this, like, I need to do it myself energy. I'm going to clarify this and then I'm going to ask about what's the potential then after that? I feel like I'm really prying into this, but I don't know. For those of you that are with me, I'm sure it's interesting for you too. So yeah, and I'm even seeing that this person like puffing up their chest. There's just energy here of like, oh, puffing up my chest. Like I just need to finish this or I just need to do this. And it's almost like, I feel like what this person also doesn't realize is that their struggles will get so much better and like the challenges they're experiencing get so much better when they finally surrender to them. There's such a call for this person to surrender instead of trying to push to get to the end and then they rest. There's just this feeling that they need to slow down now and kind of like, I'm hearing get the help that they need or kind of address that like the way that they're living their life isn't sustainable and it isn't balanced with temperance here. It's like they need to find more balance in their life. Yeah, look at this, time for a nap. And like these eyes look so tired too. We have mending. Yeah. And so what I'm seeing is like, this could come from their childhood, but again, it's really coming through that this person has patterns and cycles that have nothing to do with you at all. That is making this person not really be compatible energetically because it's like they have their own, it's like they need to slow down. What spirit is, and I'm really getting this with the hangman, it's like the sooner that this person surrenders to what they're going through and what they need help with, the sooner they can get the rest and rejuvenation and the results that they want. But it's almost like they need to realize that they sometimes slowing down and going about it differently is the best thing to do. And it doesn't mean that you lose or you're defeated or it's like this person beats themselves up over that thought, but that's something that they need to get through because I feel like that's kind of their pride. So I want to look at the mending card and see what is there. Okay, it says you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or separate. Oh gosh, separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. Like 100%. This is the vibe of this person. The energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. Yeah. And so again, it's like this person is mourning something or needing to not channel their pain into being tough or not think that they're going to solve their problems through being like this like stone hard person and understanding that the more they do that, the more they close their heart. And like that's why it says closing their heart is not the answer, but this is so spot on for what I'm feeling. It's just like this sense of it's you or the other person, and it's this person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that's impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. And so it could be that this person is suppressing something that they need to work on and slow down and actually see from a different perspective and be more honest and accurate with themselves and their current circumstance. That's what's actually going to bring them success. And I feel like that's what's going to bring you as an opportunity for them, or that's where you guys would be aligned. But until this person works through this, it won't be possible. But spirit is saying there is potential for this, but it does rely on them working through this. Yeah. I'm also going to read the prosperity message to you because I feel like this is what your person would need to hear. It says, everyone makes mistakes, especially when you want something very badly. You may come to realize that in chasing after a petty, shiny thing, you lost sight of long-term, sustainable prosperity. That's this temperance. Like, it's like this person is in the pursuit of something or like is trying to build something or work on something. I don't know exactly what it is, but um, it's basically understanding that this way that they're going about making progress and growth in their life is unsustainable. So it says sometimes you make choices that look good at first, but ultimately lead to loss or failure. And that's that Five of Swords. It's like understanding that if this person has made wrong turns and they've been hurt by it, it's time to kind of process that pain and just accept that there has been a misstep or get on the path to healing. Because it's almost like this person is stuck where they're learning this lesson of needing to like humble themselves and like just accept the fact that everybody makes mistakes and they're not like superhuman. And the best way to heal is through being radically honest and while being compassionate with yourself, right? So it says, it's time to forgive yourself and others. Don't blame anyone else. You get to start again, wiser and more mature. The journey to true abundance can be bumpy. Make amends to anyone you have hurt along the way, especially yourself. Forgive those who may have taken advantage of you. Let go and learn from this. You are now much closer to achieving the kind of prosperity that truly fulfills you. Nothing is ever lost or wasted when you view it from this perspective. Yeah. And this person maybe even feels like they have to prove themselves or yeah, this person is so hard on themselves. And so I feel like self forgiveness is something that this person is really missing and lacking. And I just want to say that if this person isn't able to be kind and compassionate and forgiving for themselves, that definitely would impact the way that they're able to connect in a connection with someone. And so just kind of understanding that it's so important to realize that when we aren't able to connect with someone, it's like rejection is spirit's protection or God's protection because it's like, you know, there's a reason why we don't want to push for things that are evading us because it probably would be just painful anyways at this point. The spirit is really indicating that there is potential here. But I do feel that it depends on this person. And so spirit doesn't really want to go deeper into it because it's like, I feel like spirit just wanted to give you more information on why it is or what it is that this person's working through. Yeah. And so I don't want to go further than that because I just want to explain that there is potential that this person could come through, but it is dependent on them doing healing. So, and honestly, a lot of the times, and you're coming through in such like a high vibrational energy that you probably have a lot of protection around you. And when you are very protected, your spirit guides will not allow people to come into your life if it could be harmful for you. Unless there's like a specific lesson you need to learn in regards to that. But I'm getting in this situation, this wouldn't be a helpful dynamic right now. Like this, I don't know. It just feels like that's not meant to be. Sometimes we are meant to be drawn to someone and then we will have a karmic dynamic where you kind of learn that lesson firsthand. But Spirit's saying like this is one where by not having to go through it right now, it's actually a blessing in disguise. And it may even be that there is potential for a really healthy relationship with this person, but it can't happen until it's time and this person has grown to a certain level. And the sad thing is sometimes people never learn in an entire lifetime. I'm not saying that's the case for this person, but it's just a fact that we have to be ready to accept. And it's just because of that fact, it's so important to focus our energy on ourselves or other places that are going to grow, are going to be fertile. And it doesn't mean that this can't work out down the line, you know. But let's get actually advice on your love life. Where should pal number 3 be putting their energy? What do you want pal number 3 to know most in regards to their love life? What advice do you have? Let me get some water. I'm actually going to get a yerba mate. I'll be right back.